Hi, I'm Adam for Lockhart. We're at this great event, the HCA event in the Metropole, Birmingham. I'm sporting our brand new sustainable jackets. Also, I'm going to speak to Tim Radcliffe. He's the Net Zero programmer for the NHS.
So my role is the Net Zero Food Programme Manager for the NHS. My role is to look at how I can help, how our team can help the NHS caterers reduce their carbon emissions. 6% of all emissions in the NHS come from catering and its associated work. So that's the main part of my role. To make a difference, I think I worked for a long time in private industry as a restaurateur and working for contract caterers and B&I. And many a day you would leave there and you would just go, great, I've made a bit more money today. But working in the NHS, you are doing something for everybody, patients care, and that's a really important thing. I know I make a difference every day about somebody in hospital. One of my main things is about reducing single use, not just single use plastic, but single use. So helping catering teams remove all their takeaway boxes and look at your reusables. We are here with no single-use cups in this event at all. I've done some work on blue plates. So I've worked with 21 trusts to help them reduce their plate waste, and by using blue plates, which works with that. And the NHS Chef of the Year competition, which has been fantastic event, looking at how we develop our chefs and try to get more people into our industry, in the hospital catering industry. The main challenge is actually that a lot of people think that it's such a big problem around the world that what they do actually won't have an impact. And we have to find a way of personalizing it so that every single person can make an impact, they can make a change. Just because it seems such a big problem doesn't mean that you won't have an impact just by doing small things. Look at reducing your carbon on your menu. Look at your equipment. Is it the best equipment for emissions currently? Can you remove single use? All those kind of things can make an impact, and it's just because it seems a monumental challenge doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to do it. And that's the biggest challenge, is getting people to accept that their single decision making will actually have a bigger impact across the world. Sustainability in the future. You know what sustainability should be in the future? That we're not talking about sustainability. That would be the best thing. We do a lot of things where we make change here, we make change there. Change has to be sustainable. And once we've made that change, nobody now talks about clunk, click every trip. We all grew up where it was constantly talked about, put your seatbelts on. Now everybody does it just as a matter of fact, and it's never spoken about. We need to get to a point where sustainability is just part of our everyday lives. I lived in France for 10 years, and when I lived there and ran my restaurant in France, I couldn't get parsnips where I worked in my restaurant because they weren't grown in that part of France, so I didn't serve them. It's second nature on a continent to take your bottles to the recycling bin and do that yourself. We've got to get to that point in this country where we see it as part of our everyday lives and not a burden on what we do. So for me, Adam, sustainability in the future is that we don't have to talk about it all the time. It's such a great idea. You know, we see chefs and they're in a kitchen, they're drinking bottles of water, and then what you have done is you've enabled that product that they do every single day, which generally can just be thrown away, is now being used to turn back into a jacket that they will wear every single day. And that is such the circular economy that we want to. You know, it really is. And your campaign is about chefs against plastic. And that is absolutely fantastic, because that's exactly what you're doing. I've got the jackets, they're breathable, they're so nice to wear, they're comfortable, The colour is fantastic with the NHS blue in there. It really is something that it raises awareness. So that when everybody's having that bottle of water and then knowing if they recycle it properly, that's going to could eventually come back to be their jacket that they're wearing in the kitchen in a year's time. And I think that's sensational. It is year 5. The biggest difference this year is that we are going to have all the finalists who will be there cooking the whole week. So instead of eliminating teams during the week, they will be there and they will cook on the final day as well. So all 8 teams. That means every team will do every challenge, which means that every chef there is learning something new, whether it be skills, whether it be allergen-free, whether it be looking at children's feeding, hospitality, using coffee. It's an exceptional event. It isn't, we find a winner because it's a competition, but actually it's about workforce development. It's about showcasing our current chefs and giving them an opportunity to learn and develop. It's also about showcasing to other industry and say, come and work in the NHS. It's as good as anywhere else to work, and some of the benefits are actually better.